gone off to lunchtime. This is the third and final hour of All Angles right here on eNCA. Good afternoon to you. Standing in for my colleague Masiro Rahlaga. But it's that time of the day when we give you an update on how far many of the stories we have been following for you today have actually advanced. So with that being said, here are your lunchtime updates. Now, our reporters, Silindelo Masikane and Nqobile Madlala, have been tracking various stories for us and join us now live to give us, of course, an update on these stories. Let's start with you, Slee, and good afternoon to you again, colleagues. Slee, continuous rain having caused havoc in the Vaal. Communities are being evacuated from their homes. What else can you tell us?
Well, we know that several communities have been affected by days of downpours here in the Vaal area. We know that from Nqobile Park to as far as Parys, many have been left stranded, essentially, with their homes having been destroyed due to flooding that has taken place. And we also know that at the Vaal Dam itself, the sluice gates or the floodgates have been opened due to the fact that the dam is full beyond capacity, and so water needs to be released to make its way downstream. And we know that those who have built near the riverbanks are also then being affected. Actually, with my colleague Joko Mane here downstream in Sasolburg, and to my right, you can actually see, we're actually standing on a bridge, Dumelo, and you can see just how full the Vaal River is. And this particular area here is actually a resort, and many of the structures in this resort are underwater. There's actually a water sport facility as well. You can see that some water has also made its way inside that particular facility as well. But that's just one of many who have actually, or one of many businesses, operations, homes that have been affected by the constant downpours. And in fact, just a few minutes ago, we were hearing thunder with JK, meaning that it does seem as though there is going to be some more rain that is expected this week. We have had an opportunity to speak to some of the communities within this area with regards to the downpours. Let's just take a listen to what they had to say.
I actually stay out here, so we normally come out and see how the water is going, because the dam's lifting very high. I think it's at about 112% now, and they're only opening any sluices tomorrow, and if the dam is 120% full. So the floods are very bad. Quite a lot of people infected, especially out here in Denysville itself. All the resorts and things are underwater. There's quite a lot of people staying in caravans where they all flooded and that, and they're trying to evacuate them, but I don't know if they've got places for them to stay.
All right, Silindelo Masikane giving us that update. Let's head over to Pule Letshwiti-Jones. Earlier on, Pule, we didn't have you. We have you now. And we're talking potholes. They have become quite a frustration for many motorists across the country. Does government have a plan on how to get rid of these potholes for good?
Well, yeah, definitely. The provincial government, earlier on when we spoke to them, said they had a plan. In fact, they have admitted to the, to the fact that there is a challenge in terms of potholes as well in the province. But of course, they've centered this around saying that most municipalities as well should be held accountable for actually not being involved in the maintenance plan of some of these roads across those various municipalities in the province. But the state of the roads in this province, of course, is something which is quite concerning. And now we've seen that the Roads and Transport Department saying that it will be working with some of the municipalities to try and help them rehabilitate some of their roads. But one, like you've seen, you can see on my left-hand side, this is also one huge pothole that you'd find in the city of Johannesburg. We've seen more earlier on today throughout my colleague Masilo. We drove around the city and we could see how this has become so much problematic. But of course, at the center of it are motorists who are quite frustrated. In fact, they want answers. Ahead of the State of the Province address, they hope that some of the plans that will be highlighted by the Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, will be, plans that can be easily implementable and, of course, within reasonable time frame lines as well. Let's take a listen to what some of the residents had to say earlier on, rather motorists had to say earlier on when we spoke to them. How are potholes affecting you?
Oh, it's very bad, man.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very bad. Yeah, and it's gotten worse now.
How are potholes affecting you?
It's really bad, eh?
Yeah.
It's really bad because been changing tires non-stop now.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm driving a low car and it's a bad thing, eh? They must fix this road.
What's your take on the state of roads in the city of Joburg?
Terrible. The robots are all out.
I mean, Pule, I don't know if you caught that, but most motorists that you spoke to, when you asked the question how they feel about the road, the first thing they said was, it's bad, man. It's bad. Just reeling with frustration. But we'll leave it at that, colleague. I need to head out of Gauteng now, going to KwaZulu-Natal. Nqobile Madlala, you are still at the Durban University of Technology. I mean, DUT rather accusing NSFAS of keeping them in the dark. I'm referring here to some students, some, student-affiliated political parties and, some SRC members. This they're saying, NSFAS keeping them in the dark about their registration for the year, and they're protesting at the campus. What can you tell us? Tell us more.
Well, yes, we are in DUT and the scorching heat, but that's not only that has heated up today. We have seen basically the leading political groups here, student political groups that have decided to close gates in every single campus around this area. You would note that we are at Steve Biko campus. Ritson was closed. We do understand now from actual DUT that all campuses were affected. That's in Durban and Pietermaritzburg. They were all affected because of what was happening. But basically, we have heard from the groups that they are saying that the issue is teaching and learning cannot start if not all students were able to get what they need. We do understand that some of them still have outstanding accommodation, others still have outstanding fees that needs to be paid in terms of continuing studying. But we have spoken to management, and management says that they are going to have a meeting with SRC to try and iron out those issues and see what is the way forward. But today, DUT has basically not had any classes. Let's listen in.
All students who require financial aid will apply to the National Students Financial Aid Scheme. Universities like the Durban University of Technology have financial aid offices, and those offices are open to assist students. Our student housing offices are also open, in fact, still assisting students even though the academic program is meant to start, because we are aware that some students still require their financial clearances. So there are certainly structures in place to assist students for both housing needs and also financial aid needs from NSFAS. The sad reality is that not everybody who wants a bed will get a bed. There's just limited spaces available. In terms of our first-year students, those who have received offers and have accepted offers and are awaiting financial clearances, those first-year students who are still awaiting financial clearances, and let me reiterate, who have received and accepted offers, have been allocated spaces pending their financial clearances.
Colleagues, I appreciate the updates. Our reporters, senior reporters Silindelo Masikane, Pule, Letshwiti-Jones and Nqobile Madlala, thank you so much for updating us throughout the afternoon.